Barbara Artuso, and my word is direction. I would like to share with you how I used the gifts God gave me to provide direction to others. I am so blessed. I was blessed in having parents who valued education and were willing to work and sacrifice to provide me with many years of higher education. That was a gift from God. Certainly, my intellectual ability to study and to learn what was necessary during those years is not of my own making. That, too, is a gift from God. My health was maybe the greatest blessing, as it has enabled me to be active and productive throughout my life. Being geographically located in a county where there were colleagues, especially at the law firm where I worked for almost 20 years, who encouraged and supported me was not an accident. You got it. It was a gift from God. Maybe most significantly, there was the gift of God in the fruit of the Holy Spirit, received in my baptism. Now, what should I do with these gifts? I practiced law for almost 20 years. I practiced law for almost 40 years. I believe that my doing so was using the gifts God gave me, and I hope that my doing so glorified Him. For example, early in my practice, I represented a lot of people who were seeking a divorce, custody of minor children, or support for their now single-parent families. These people were under stress for sure. They sought a specific legal outcome, of course, which required my knowledge and eventually experience. Hopefully, I could provide that direction. But that was not the only direction they needed. They needed to be heard. Some of them had been abused, betrayed, and disappointed. Before I offered direction, I needed to listen with understanding so that I knew how to offer that direction. The direction included explaining the law and processes and how we would try to achieve their objectives. But the direction I offered was not just telling people what to do. It also involved calming them and sometimes modifying their expectations and maybe even helping them change the course they desired from their legal journey. The patience, kindness, and goodness of the Holy Spirit working through me was truly a gift from God. I also practiced criminal defense law. Here were people who clearly needed direction. How would Jesus have treated the children of God who were accused of crimes? They were often neglected as children, impoverished, sometimes addicted or homeless. They had not made good judgments to get them to where they were, and they might not have responded to being told what to do without the compassion Jesus showed to such people. In my effort to give direction with compassion, I was blessed by that gift from God. Toward the end of my practice, I began representing people who were sick and or injured and could not support themselves through working. I worked to obtain for them benefits available from the federal government. I gave them direction as to what benefits were available and how we would work together to obtain them. In the alternative, I gave them direction away from such benefits when I felt they would be unsuccessful in pursuing them. Instead, I directed them to other job programs or other educational opportunities. This was both the most direction I gave and the most satisfying. In this area of practice, more than the others, I felt I changed lives for the better. Now that was a gift from God. Speaking of changing lives for the better, I eventually became an administrative law judge for the Social Security Administration. There, I had the ability to provide life-changing direction in the decisions I made about whether or not people were entitled to disability benefits. I considered these cases carefully and seriously, using all of the gifts of God I've already mentioned, knowing the impact that those decisions would have. After all those stories, you may be wondering what direction has to do with stewardship. Well, my understanding of living a life of stewardship is that we first recognize that all of our gifts, health, education, opportunity, are not coincidences or luck. They are gifts from God. And they are not given to us for our own purposes. Rather, we are to use them to glorify the God whom we worship in grateful response to our having received them. I have tried to live that life of stewardship, and my prayer for you is that you devote yourselves to discerning the gifts God has given you and finding ways to use them to serve.